Welcome back, students. Yesterday, in the subject of organization and commerce and management, we had started our first topic, that is nature and significance of management, and we had completed the topic of definition, nature, and importance. So, today we are taking up management as art, science, and profession. Now, when we say that something is an art, like I told you in the last class, art is something that is more execution based. How skillfully you can perform certain thing is an art. How skillfully you can dance is an art. How skillfully you can sing is an art. So management is an art of getting things done through and with the help of others. Like I told you that when we talk about management is done when there is a group of people working towards achieving one particular objective, right? So again, you have to ensure that there is proper collaboration, coordination, and cooperation while this group of people is executing work. And there has to be a management in place, a system, or call a group of people or one single manager who is ensuring this proper cooperation and coordination within that particular group. So he has to make sure that he is able to align their interest with the interest of the organization. So he has to be very meticulous, very skillful while handling this people. So therefore management is called as an art because it is employment of skill and expertise of an individual. Like the manager is having skill and expertise in the area of management. So when we say that it is an art, you also need a theoretical base. You need to know what are the management principles, right? So therefore the knowledge is also important, the theoretical knowledge is also important, but it is more employment based. How skillfully you can put that knowledge into practice is called as an art, and therefore management is also called as an art. Then management is a science. When we say something is a science, it means that it is a systematized and specialized knowledge. Like I told you in the last class, science is more factual in nature. It is something that is established in nature, right? Like we say gravitational force. So it is established that it exists everywhere. Whatever object you throw from the top, it is destined to fall on the ground. There is no situation in which things would be reversed, right? So it is having its established rules, principles, knowledge, theory, and so on. So also management has its own management practices, theories, rules, and principles at place, and therefore management is also a science. When we talk about profession, a profession is where specialized knowledge in a specific field is acquired and used for the overall welfare of the society. So here, pay attention to these two words, that is specialized knowledge in a specific field. So this is more based on a particular area, right? It is a knowledge in particular field. Say for example advocate, so they are having knowledge in the legal profession. Say for example doctors, so they are having knowledge in the medical profession. Chartered accountant, they are accounting experts, right? Company secretary, they are compliance experts. So they are having specific knowledge in their specific area only, and they are using it for the welfare of the society. Obviously, say for example when a chartered accountant is conducting an audit, he is ensuring that none of the company is indulging itself into any malpractices. So ultimately it is for the welfare of the nation. When a doctor is treating a patient, he is ensuring good health of the society. So whatever specialized knowledge they are having, they are using it for the good of the society as a whole. So to call something as a profession, there has to be a specialized body of knowledge. That knowledge is to be acquired by the individual, and it is to be used for the overall welfare of the society. The work of a professional is called service. It is not called as a job. What these professionals are having specific skills and knowledge, and they are putting it into practice to for the overall welfare of the society. So they are serving the society. So it is called as a service. And he charges fees in return for providing such services. Imagine when you attend a doctor, you are ailing from any disease, and you consult a particular medical practitioner. So will you say what salary I should pay you? No, you ask him what is your fees, right? When you consult an advocate, if you're having any legal matter ongoing and an advocate advises you upon something, so whatever he would charge would be his fees. So a professional will have specialized knowledge. He will acquire this knowledge and he will put it into use for the welfare of the society, and the consideration which he will charge in exchange of such services will be called as a fees, right? So management is all the three. It is art, science and profession, because management has its own specialized knowledge. It is acquired and it is used for the overall welfare of the society. Now when we talk about management, it is called as a upcoming profession or a growing profession. It is not a profession as a whole. Why? Because everybody is not a management professional. Somebody is manager, he is putting it his skill into use, but again he would be drawing certain salary, so it is not satisfying the criteria of fees. But a management practitioner who is working on freelance basis, he will be charging fees. So it can be vice versa, how you are employed, whether you are in an organization or you are self-employed, depending upon that you can determine whether a manager is charging fees or he'll be given salary. Okay, moving further, what are the characteristics of a profession? So like it was said in the definition, it is having specialized knowledge. Say for example, doctors are having medical knowledge in the area of medicine. Legal professionals, that is advocates, are having specialized knowledge in the field of law. So there is a special knowledge which they possess. A doctor cannot fight a case in the court, nor the advocate can treat a patient, right? So they are specialist in their own area. Then there is increase in knowledge and research. You constantly try to develop new ways of treating people, you constantly try to develop newer medicine, so you're constantly increasing your knowledge, you're constantly undertaking research to make things better and better. Similarly, in the case of advocates, imagine the type of laws we had 100 years ago and the type of laws we have today. As the society changes, the legal practitioners also undertake an increase in knowledge through research, development, and bringing changes in law, amending certain law, or building new laws as per the requirement of the current society. We did not have Information Technology Act before the year 2000, right? But in the year 2000, Information Technology Act was implemented so as to ensure safety of the online transactions, to ensure that how legal it is. So therefore it is necessary to have such development in knowledge to call it as a profession. Professionals have professional association. Say for example, advocates have the Bar Council of India, chartered accountants have the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, right? So they are having their professional association. So once they are qualified to be a professional, when they have cleared their examination, they become member of these association. They are not just alumni. Unlike you and me, when we pass out our college, we are called as alumni. But the professionals become the member of the professional association. Now this professional association also has a code of conduct for its member, how they should conduct themselves, how they should treat their clients or their patients, how they should be loyal to their the how they should be loyal to the code of conduct of the which is prescribed by the organization, how secrecy of the client is to be maintained. Everything is determined in the code of conduct, and the professional is bound by that code of conduct of the association. Then the moral responsibility, it is the moral responsibility of the professional to ensure welfare of the society, to not to cheat anybody, and to put into strict implementation the code of conduct of the professional association. Therefore, to call something as a profession, it needs to have these 5 characteristics. That is, number 1, requirement of a specialized knowledge. Number 2, increase in knowledge and research. Number 3, professional association. Number 4, implementation of code of conduct. And number 5, moral responsibility. So that's all for today. We'll stop here. Tomorrow we would take out levels of management. See you. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye, students. Have a nice time. Have a great study ahead. Bye bye.